Have you ever worked so hard for something, a goal, a promotion, maybe just a break, only to find that once you get it, the magic kind of fades? Well, today we're going to dive into a simple but really powerful technique to reboot your appreciation for the life you have right now. And it all starts by remembering the life you were so glad to leave behind. It all kicked off when the author stumbled upon an old picture of himself, just sitting in his car, looking completely and totally exhausted. And that one image, it sparked this huge realization about how easily we forget. It was the face of pure burnout, a feeling I think a lot of us know all too well. And right next to that photo, he found this little doodle. It's a stick figure, right? Trapped between this T-Rex labeled Monday and a bottle of wine for Friday. I mean, this just captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? The sense that the work week wasn't just long, it was this geological era of just survival.
But here's the really weird part. Looking back from a life of retirement, a life of peace, the author realized he could barely remember how that exhaustion actually felt. The context was just gone. The stress, the traffic, that constant countdown to the weekend, it all just sort of faded into a blur. And that, right there, is the real danger of comfort.
So here's the crucial point, the main takeaway. Our ability to feel grateful is totally tied to contrast. When we don't have the bad to compare it to anymore, the good just starts to feel, well, normal, invisible even. We stop appreciating the peace because we've completely forgotten the chaos.
Now, this isn't just some vague feeling. There's a real psychological reason behind all of this. Our brains are actually wired to get used to good things. And yep, there's a scientific name for it, and it explains why the things we once dreamed of can eventually feel, a little boring. Let me just ask you this, because I think we've all been there. Why does even paradise start to feel like a regular old Tuesday? You get the dream job, the new house, the freedom you wanted, and after a while, that initial thrill just levels out. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. So what is going on in our heads? Okay, it's this thing called hedonic adaptation. Basically, think of your brain as a really terrible historian. It's designed to edit out pain and compress boredom so you can keep moving forward. It's a survival mechanism, for sure, but it has this one major side effect. It normalizes everything. That amazing new reality, it just becomes your new baseline, and then you start taking it for granted. So if the problem is that we've lost the contrast, then the solution is to deliberately rebuild it, right? The key to switching that gratitude back on is to remember the very chaos that makes your current peace feel so valuable. We have to intentionally go back and visit the grind we were so happy to escape. So what did that grind really look like? Let's just imagine an average Tuesday. 6:15 a.m. The alarm goes off and you have that gut drop feeling when you realize it is not Saturday. By 9 a.m., your inbox has already exploded. At noon, you're fighting just to keep your lunch break from being swallowed by another meeting. And by 3 p.m., you're not even there anymore. You're just fantasizing about Friday. Sound familiar? Just look at the contrast here between then and now. Waking up to a jarring alarm versus waking up naturally. A day of back-to-back meetings versus going for a nice walk. An inbox that's on fire versus reading a book. The difference is just, wow, it's night and day. But without this kind of reminder, we completely forget just how different it really is.
The real issue here is that we just adapt way too fast, and the source calls this the curse of a good life. We get so used to it, we literally stop seeing how incredible it truly is. So how do we actually fight back against this?
Okay, so this brings us to the actual solution. It's called the Gratitude Reboot. Now, this isn't about wishing for the past or complaining. No, it's a practical, deliberate exercise designed to bring that forgotten contrast back into sharp focus, so you can actually appreciate the present moment.
And let's be super clear about what this is. This is not nostalgia. You're not supposed to be longing for the good old days of being stressed out. This is what the author calls contrast therapy. It's like visiting a place you used to live, not because you miss it, but just to remind yourself why you moved in the first place. It's a tool for perspective.
So how do you do it? It's a really simple three-step process. First, you curate your museum. You find a few key artifacts from your old life, your life of the grind. Second, you schedule a visit. You intentionally take a moment to look at them. And third, you feel the contrast. You actively remind yourself of what has changed and everything you've gained.
So what kind of stuff goes in this museum of the grind? Honestly, it could be anything that triggers that memory. An old work ID badge, a stained coffee mug from the office kitchen, maybe a screenshot of a calendar that was just ridiculously packed,
Or maybe it's that one photo of yourself where you look completely, utterly spent. These are your artifacts of contrast.
And you know, the ultimate goal here isn't just to feel grateful for a quick second. The real goal is to sharpen your joy. It's about taking the peace and the calm you have right now, which might have faded into the background, and making it feel vivid and alive and real again.
The source puts this so perfectly. Ease, without reflection, breeds blindness. It's this powerful reminder that a good life, an easy life, well, it requires a little bit of maintenance. If we don't take the time to reflect, we actually become blind to our own good fortune. The ease itself is what starts to obscure our happiness.
And here's the final piece of advice. When you start to feel restless or bored with your calm, quiet life, the answer isn't to add more stuff, more projects, more activities, more noise. The solution is so much simpler. Just take a moment to remember the noise you worked so damn hard to escape. So the big takeaway is this: that quiet morning, that slow lunch, that unscheduled afternoon, that's not just filler time. That is the prize. This is the peace you earned, meeting by meeting, commute by commute. The Gratitude Reboot is just a way to make sure you never, ever stop seeing it.